democracy is under attack, and if we don't act now, our country may never be the same. So why is this happening? Was it last year's January 6th riots? Nope. The voting rights battle? Wrong. Critical race theory? Well, it's not that either. The single issue that could bring our republic to its knees, it's the lurch toward authoritarianism under the guise of keeping us safe from COVID. Economic and social lockdowns, vaccine and mask mandates, curfews, passports and paperwork just to go to dinner. These are all things that are happening in this country right now. As one website put it, health first, freedom second. Civil liberties be damned. And if it goes unchecked, believe me, it's only going to get worse and it won't let up. And it's not just here. In France, President Emmanuel Macron just said he is purposely trying to make life as difficult as possible for the unvaccinated. What is he, Anthony Fauci? In Germany and Austria, unvaccinated people forbidden from leaving their homes. In the UK, couples who didn't live together were at one point forbidden from having sex under the threat of heavy fines. No heavy petting or heavy fines. And in Australia, nobody was allowed to enter or leave the country for almost 2 years, not to mention what people are doing to Novak Djokovic. More on that coming up in just a bit. Now, keep in mind, these are all forward-thinking democracies, and they enacted all of this in the snap of a finger. The Washington Post's motto is democracy dies in darkness. Turns out it can die in broad daylight, too. And the one who is killing it, unelected medical bureaucrats like Dr. Anthony Fauci. So how do we prevent this pandemic from destroying our freedom and liberty? Well, let's get into it with tonight's party panel. We've got conservative strategist and human events contributor Chris Barron. We've got Democrat strategist, radio host, and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and the president of the Mises Institute, Jeff Deist. Welcome, everyone.
Howdy.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Leslie. So let's talk about this a little bit, Chris. Is COVID the thing that is changing these once flourishing democracies?
Yeah, but yes, absolutely. And by the way, you hit the nail on the head. It's so unbelievably ironic that on January 6th, we've been treated to an entire day of kabuki theater, pretending that the riots on the Capitol Hill are this existential threat to our republic, to our way of life, when the fact is we've been giving away our freedoms bit by bit and drop by drop for the last 18 months. As Benjamin Franklin said, those who would trade essential liberties in exchange for temporary safety deserve neither. And that's what's been happening not only in this country, but all across the globe. And that every freedom-loving person on this planet should be concerned that over the last 18 months, we've allowed governments all the way from the top to the bottom to abridge basic civil rights in the name of ending a healthcare crisis.
All right, so what's a bigger threat? COVID authoritarianism, Leslie, or the thought of January 6th?
I guess it depends who you are. During World War II, when we were being attacked, we had to have a curfew, we had to ration, we had to pull our drapes down. So I was told by my family members who lived through those times. And people did it. Why? Because they wanted to be safe. Well, we're under attack of a different way. We're under a viral attack, a pandemic that we're trying to get behind us because we've overburdened our healthcare workers, our healthcare system. And for so many of us, we have buried loved ones, and we definitely want that to stop. So I understand people want their liberty and they want their freedom, but at the same time, you can't gripe, please get this behind us, and scream that we're going to have any of our liberties or freedoms infringed upon. Obviously, whenever you're going to have something like this, any kind of a health problem, a war problem, anything that is going to infringe upon our safety and our lives, then our freedoms are going to be infringed upon. I'm not surprised we're seeing this in different countries. People are afraid, leaders are afraid, everyone is afraid, and that's why we see this level of panic.
That is a great point, Jeff, because fear has been the ultimate tool of the government to control people's lives. It hasn't kept people alive. It hasn't kept people safe. It hasn't kept people from getting sick. The only thing that we have that's still lingering is this state of constant fear. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
Well, not everyone is in fear of COVID. Lots of people would like to get on with things, frankly. I mean, this is a pretty minor virus in the history of things. But more importantly, it shows you that just because you're in a Western democracy doesn't mean you're any more immune from totalitarianism. I mean, we've lost the basic parameters of what made the West what made Western democracy special, which was the idea, first of all, that the individual has some degree of rights versus the collective or versus the state, which can't be imposed upon no matter what. And second of all, that there are things that are more important than security and safety, right? That security and safety are not the greatest and highest values in society. And so once you lose those, these distinctions between, well, we're a democracy, okay. You know, New Zealand and Australia are two of the most locked down countries on earth over the past 2 years due to COVID. I would venture that healthy majorities in both those countries absolutely support what's going on with their own governments. So democracy is not the panacea here. And as far as fear goes, you know, hey, look, during World War II, yes, people voluntarily grouped together for the war effort. But even during World War II, even during the Blitz in London, people went to work. They didn't lock down.
That's a really good point. And, you know, the things that will remain from this, they're actually quite scary because, you know, when we do follow the science in the name of safety, those definitions keep changing. So, you know, you can claim that one thing is that is the bottom line. This is what safety is. And then when that becomes inconvenient for the fearmongers, they change the definition of what it means to be safe. So when you change the definition of things, then people can no longer trust what you're saying or what you're selling. And that's what's happening in this country. And that's why you are seeing a pushback of healthcare workers. And it's not just a crisis of healthcare workers, Leslie. The crisis is healthcare workers who are exercising medical freedom are being fired. That is the manufactured crisis that is manifesting in hospitals like the Mayo Clinic. Well, let's go back down under to one of my favorite places, Australia. We know authoritarianism stinks. So who's the latest casualty? Tennis star Novak Djokovic. He's supposed to defend his Australian Open title this month, but now that might not happen. Djokovic says that he has a valid medical vaccine exemption, but his visa was just yanked because, as Prime Minister Scott Morrison says, rules are rules, and that's not a knife. He was talking about his tennis racket, which I think is weird. Now, Djokovic is reportedly stuck in a refugee detention hotel. I don't think it's the Four Seasons. He is waiting for a hearing on the matter. That could be days away. So will Djokovic miss the tournament because of pandemic autocracy? Chris?
Yeah, probably. And look, I understand rules are rules, but what if the rules are absolutely stupid? What if the rules do absolutely nothing to help? I mean, this reminds me of the Aaron Rodgers situation in the NFL. Like, I get it. I get that both of these guys aren't following by the rules, but the rules don't make any sense. We've got governments lying to us. We've got Jen Psaki standing there saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. That's not true. Vaccinated people all across this country are catching COVID and passing it on to other people. These rules simply don't make sense. At some point, we have to look at the rules and say, do they make any damn sense?
Yes, and we also have to be a little bit more sophisticated when we get new data in. Instead of these blanket policies, you know, you can't come in here because I said so. That doesn't work forever, and people will start to revolt. And, you know, there are some Australians that are very gleeful that Novak Djokovic is being singled out this way, and the Prime Minister basically admitted that, yeah, he was singled out. Rafael Nadal, he got COVID last month or 2 months ago, and he's still allowed in the country. So what's going on? It seems a little arbitrary, Leslie.
This is, I think you can see the record player playing the smallest record with the saddest song. Sorry, there are rules. Tennis is a game of rules. I get so tired about, you know, rich athletes or celebrities that are in my backyard here in Hollywood whining because the rules have to apply to them too. And even if the rules are stupid, I think it's stupid that I have to drive 55 or 65 whenever. I'd like to drive 105, but I can't, and I don't. I can get arrested, I can lose my license, I could hurt somebody. Those are the rules. That is what Australia set up. They have immigration laws, and even during this pandemic, they're an island, a small island. They have every right to do that. So I'm sorry, my violin stays in the case. I'll continue to play the small, you know, record player for him. He knew what he was getting into. He knew what the rules were. just like in the game of tennis, which a lot of people think has some pretty stupid rules as well.
And it's interesting because that's the same kind of condescending attitude that the U.S. government has toward its citizens that Leslie is exhibiting toward Djokovic. What are your thoughts,
I'm not condescending.
Jeff?
I just say rules are rules. I know the rules for my life, and I can abide by them or not.
The whole rant is condescending.
Well,
we can make all sorts of rules, and we can have layers, and we can have protocols, and we can live in a segregated society. And you can tell African Americans who are distrustful of their government, who don't want to get the vaccine, you can sit down and stay out of this restaurant because these are the rules. That's pretty great, Leslie. That's definitely a free society that I want to live in. Go ahead, Jeff.
You asked my opinion. I gave you my opinion. I'm not being condescending.
And you know what?
I'm being honest.
And
he plays a game by rules.
Your
He's trying
opinion was
to enter a country
and when
that
it's
has their
condescending,
rules.
I'm going to call you on it. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, yeah, there are rules, and he flew to Australia commercial on Emirates. Believe you me, he did not get on that plane without a valid Australian visa of some type, which somebody in Australia issued him. Okay, so I think this was a setup, whether it was designed to humiliate him and put him in this situation, or whether it was just the Australian government started to get nervous about all the social media attention that was being given to the fact that he was sort of going around the vaccine rules. I don't know. But nonetheless, I mean, the guy had a visa, and now he's basically in detention. And as far as rules go, well, okay, you know, when any of us on this panel are literally the best person on earth at our job, like Novak Djokovic or Aaron Rodgers, then maybe we'll have a little different sense of the rules. So I think Australia is showing itself badly here. I think the Australian public piling on Djokovic reflects badly on them. And frankly, Australia really relies on tourism, which they haven't had for 2 years now. And as far as it being an island, yeah, it's an island. You can cut off boats and planes from coming there, and guess what? They have COVID the same as anybody else. Virus gonna virus.
Yes, especially when the virus hasn't been able to virus. The virus is going to virus even more when it gets there. And what Australia has done to its citizens is unconscionable. And I've talked to people there, and they're worried that that's not going to recover because that used to be a fun and free place, and a little bit dangerous because the sharks, the crocodiles, the spiders, the snakes, and the jellyfish, the most dangerous in the world. But that's what makes it kind of sexy. Well, thank God for Florida. Without it, Democrat COVID crazies would have nowhere to breathe free and vacation. AOC was caught airing out her big mouth in Miami with her boyfriend's nasty feet last week. And this week, California Congressman Eric Swalwell, who became famous for farting on television and allegedly having an affair with a Chinese spy, he was snapped maskless in a Miami hotel. Who wouldn't want to be maskless in Miami? What a fun, fun place to be. The photo was taken just 5 days after Swalwell called for masks everywhere in a tweet and blamed Republicans for prolonging the pandemic. The hypocrisy has not escaped Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
If I had $1 for every lockdown politician who decided to escape to Florida over the last 2 years, I'd be a pretty doggone wealthy man, let me tell you. I mean, Congress people, mayors, governors, I mean, you name it.
So are these lockdown Democrats not as scared of COVID as they pretend to be, Chris?
Yeah, obviously they're not, but I've got an idea. And Leslie, you should go along with this one. Since you're all for we're going to have to sacrifice some of our precious freedom, how about Florida institute a law that says if you vote in favor of mask mandates, you can't come to Florida. You can't come at all. Swalwell, AOC, stay in your crappy states. You can't come to Florida. I mean, we're going to have to give up some of our precious freedoms. They'll have to do that. We're all going to have to suck it up like with World War II and internment camps. We're just going to have to give that up because it's necessary to fight this new war.
So, well, I mean, you should round up the unvaccinated and put them in camps. You absolutely should. Because it is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and they should be rounded up and corralled and kept away from the rest of society so the virus can die.
Yeah, and by the way, Leslie was talking about all the wonderful things that were done during World War II. We did internment camps. We stuck people in internment camps in World War II. So sometimes there is government overreach. Sometimes the sacrifices that are demanded of our citizenry are not fair. They're not equitable, and they shouldn't be tolerated.
Eric Swalwell and his hypocrisy shouldn't be tolerated. Leslie?
Well, if that wasn't condescending, not you, but the analysis before that, I'm not sure what is. Look, I have no problem with Florida saying don't come, and I like my state, so please stop putting it down. I went to the beach this weekend. I was outside without a mask, as many people were out in the fresh air. I'm friends with Eric, and I think it's hypocritical if you're inside and you're saying you got to wear a mask and you're not wearing a mask, is one of the photos of him that I've seen. But I don't think it's hypocritical, no matter what state you're in, to be outside without a mask, because that's pretty much what we have all been practicing, especially if we are vaccinated and boosted as he is.
Doesn't matter. I know plenty of vaccinated and boosted people who have not only gotten COVID, they have spread COVID, Leslie. So, Jeff,
so you want them to wear a mask, or you don't want them to wear a mask?
No, I think that it is up to the individual whether or not they wear a mask. And if Eric Swalwell doesn't want to wear a mask, and obviously he doesn't, then he shouldn't tell everyone else that they're required to wear masks. And somehow not wearing masks has kept the pandemic going. But, Jeff, this is just another hypocritical politician.
Well, good for him, because masks are stupid and they don't work. So there's no reason for him to wear one. But look, if charges of hypocrisy were going to hurt politicians, they would have been hurt by now. I mean, there's no sanction in politics for being a hypocrite, right? He's not going to lose his seat. It's probably gerrymandered. He's not going to lose his committee assignments. He's not going to lose donor funds. He's not going to lose face or experience shame or social opprobrium. This is going to be a little one-day news cycle hit on him, and he'll attack back, and then it'll all be over. So, hypocrisy, those charges just don't stick. It's too late. It's too late in the American game of politics, I'm afraid, to talk about hypocrisy. That's like talking about dandruff or something. It's too far gone.
So why does being maskless in Florida, why does that pose less of a threat than being maskless in other parts of the country? Because that's what he's imploring people to do. He's imploring everyone to wear masks, but somehow the COVID in Florida is not going to affect him. I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, there's a deep-rooted psychological need to demonize and humiliate the other. And in this case, the other is Florida, red state. They're obviously very worried about DeSantis. Anti-vaxxers and COVID deniers, those are simply the new versions of Trumpers. And so that was a nice shift since Trump's not in office anymore. And this is what politics does. It creates hatred and division. And, it's a pretty sick way to organize society at this point, this red versus blue thing. Yeah, no, we need a lot more yellow in there, because the red versus blue, it's not working anymore. So I'm sorry, your primary colors have been taken away, and the liberty-minded are going to have to take over so we can give you the power back, because the ones in power right now, they've pretty much wrecked everything. Don't worry, the party panel is sticking around, because... Are you hip, groovy, and hot to trot? Well, then you're living in the past, Grandma. Tonight, we'll find out who can keep up with the slang of the times and America's spiffiest game. Word on the street. It is all the rage, Daddy-O, and here's how it works. I will read our contestants a modern-day slang expression that the kids are all using today on the TikTok and the Whatgram, and then they will score 2 points if they can tell me what that means, or just 1 point if they need me to use it in a sentence before they can define it. Whoever scores the most wins an autographed TikTok dance from Yo Mama. All right, Chris, Leslie, Jeff, are you all ready to play?
I guess.
Yep.
Very good. You all look very excited. This is a fantastic panel for this. Chris, I will start with you. Again, you get 2 points if I don't have to use this in a sentence. Your word, fax, no printer. Do you know what that means? Or do you need me to use it in a sentence?
I need you to use it in a sentence.
Okay, person 1, Taco Bell tastes better when you're drunk. Person 2, fax, no printer.
Oh, like that's the facts? Like that's the truth?
That is correct. Chris, you're on the board with 1. Well done.
So, yeah.
All right, Leslie, I know you got some hipsters at home. All right, what is this word? I wonder if it's
they would like to watch this to laugh at me.
Okay, so here you go. Here's the word. Cheugy. Cheugy. C-H-E-U-G-Y. Do you need me to use it in a sentence?
I need it in a...
Okay.
I need it in a sentence.
Being obsessed with Disney as an adult is so chuggy.
Oh, how do you say it? Like, I don't know, juvenile, ridiculous, because you're an adult liking something for kids.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's an embarrassing millennial trend, but you're absolutely right. We'll give you 1 point for that. We'll see if Jeff is hip, and if he doesn't need this in a sentence, Jeff, here's your word: yeet. Y-E-E-T. Do you need me to use it in a sentence?
No, because it would be the same with or without a sentence. Yeet. Look, I have teenagers.
Mm-hmm. You're hip.
Yeet is like yikes for old people. That's my answer.
You are wrong. It is to throw. The sentence would have been, watch as I yeet this empty bottle into the trash can. I also have teenagers, and I know none of this. And if I go home and say any of it to them, they will make fun of me, even if they know what it is. All right, Chris, here you go. This is one that my daughters ask me about all the time. Sneaky links. Do you need me to use it in a sentence, Chris?
Sneaky link. Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Don't tell anyone, but Chris and Tina are sneaky links.
Dating?
It's a little bit more specific than that. Don't tell anyone.
So having sex, sleeping together, hooking up.
Okay. We'll take hookup. It's secret hookup partners. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So my daughters use the term sneaky link so much, my nephew and I wanted to start a pocket sausage company that you could take around with you, some sneaky links. All right, Leslie, here you go. Based. Do you need that in a sentence?
I do.
Okay, here's your sentence, Leslie. Did you see Kennedy's monologue last night? Damn, she is so based.
Oh, wow, that could go a couple of ways. Funny or snarky?
No, it's actually unapologetic about being yourself. Based.
Oh, okay.
Based. How low can you go? That's okay. Well, I'm not going to give you a point for that one. Not because I'm mad. Jeff, you should be able to get this without the sentence. Red-pilled.
Well, I mean, there's so many pills now. I rely on Dave Smith for this one. Mm-hmm. Blue pill means you're kind of a, red pill, I never saw The Matrix. I don't like that stuff. But red pill means that you're seeing the world clearly, even if that's nasty, versus blue pill means you have goofy, happy blinders.
Okay, we'll take it.
You're seeing the world as it is, reality.
It is to be awake to the mainstream media's lies originating from The Matrix. We're going to give Jeff 2 for that because he did not need the defining sentence. Okay, Chris, here you go. One more for you. The phrase is, catch these hands. Would you like that in a sentence?
I'm getting all these are great. Yeah, I'm going to catch these hands in a sentence.
Okay, you cut me off in traffic. Now get ready to catch these hands.
Is it like give somebody the finger?
It's a little bit more broad than that, not quite as specific.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not going to give you a point for that. It's to start a fight, an expression of confrontation.
Oh man! Like you should have said like like a hockey. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so
I'm embarrassed.
This next one is bop. Leslie, would you like it in a sentence?
What was the word again?
Bop, like bop. I told you I had
give
hip
it to me in a
references.
sentence. I think I know it.
Okay, the new Mike Rowe and John Rich song is a bop.
Oh, a hit. That's a hit that you can dance to, bop to.
I'll give you that. Yep, I'll give you a point for that. You're all tied at 2 apiece. Jeff, you could win the whole thing here. I love this one. The phrase is glow up. Jeff, do you need it in a sentence?
Glow up? Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
You look great. You've really had a glow up since the last time I saw you.
A glow up. Well, I guess in young people terms, that means you're looking better. In grown-up terms, it means you've had work done or something like that.
Yes, it's to go through
You're
a
looking
positive
better.
physical, mental, or spiritual change. We'll take that. Jeff Deist wins. Word on the street. He is so hip, he gets an autographed TikTok dance. I'll do it with a colored Sharpie. Party panel, thank you so much for playing tonight.